Hi everyone. So I hope you all are doing good today and thank you for joining. So I guess we can start now. I don't expect more people to join. Uh, so before we begin, I just want to know that how many of you have already had a brush with Java or like you know solve some questions or anything in Java? Can you just drop in the chat box if you have yes or no? Have you learned Java before? Yes or no? Okay, that's good. How about others? Mhm. All right. So yeah, today we'll be going through the very basics of Java, and it's good to see a mix of yes and no. I'm glad that you joined, even though you have done Java before. But today's session will be very beginner level, right? So it's for those people who do not know Java or who have forgotten Java, the syntax basically. So and yeah, we'll be focused mostly on like learning the syntax and what all we need to solve DSA. I won't be going deep into topics that are, related to advanced Java concepts, or it won't be too conceptual. We'll just learn how basics of, the data types, what kind of operations we can do, what are classes and objects and all. So shall we start? Just drop a yes if you all are ready. Okay. Yeah. So let's start with what kind of programming language Java is, first of all. So, can you all tell me what kind of programming language Java is? Just drop your answers in the chat box. Or you can unmute if you want. Yeah, it's a no object oriented programming language. So, there are basically two major kinds of programming languages. One is procedural, you know, if you have done C, then it's a procedural language. You basically follow a set of instructions in the given sequence, and everything is done exactly in the way it is written down. But then there are object oriented programming languages where we can access different objects in classes as and when needed. It doesn't have to be, written in a particular sequence. So yeah, that's what object oriented programming means. And I won't really be sharing any slides or something because I'll just go through with it. I'll be copying the teaching style of Akshay sir, because I found out that everyone likes this way of teaching more. I'll just Google stuff in front of you if I forget something, and that's how you'll also get to know how to Google stuff and get things done. So, so I already Googled object oriented programming. So yeah, let's just open any image and see. Yeah. So we'll just be dealing with these two for now. You can ignore these complicated words if you don't know them. If you know them, that's really good. If you don't, you just don't have to worry about what these are. You'll get to learn them as you progress with Java, not today. So classes and objects. These two are the things that we'll be dealing with. So for now, you can just consider what objects are. They are basically complex data types. Like let's do this. Um, so okay, can you all tell me all the the basic data types that you have dealt with? Integers, string, float. These are the basic data types, right? So, but these data types, just wait a second. Okay, here it is. I opened it actually. Yeah, I'll just copy these. See, and I'll just show you. We can discuss them one by one. These there are a few more as well, but we'll just deal with these for now. Okay. So first is integer, right? Then there is float. Float is basically decimal numbers, right? Where we deal with points. Then there is character. Character is one single character. You all, I bet you all know all of this. Boolean is either true or false data types. Like it can either be true or false. Then there is string. A character is just one character, but string is now, a few characters grouped together. That's a string. So these are the basic data types. And let's talk about the kind of operations that we can do on these. Suppose I'll just erase these. Okay, before erasing these, I just want to show you guys how to declare variables. So this is one way of declaring a variable. Here, actually, what we are doing is we are not just declaring, we are initializing it as well. Initializing means to assign it a value. But what we can also do here is that int a, I just declared it, then I'm assigning it a value. This also works completely fine. So yeah, you can declare multiple variables as well. Like you can do this int a, uh, not a, b, c, d, and this will work just fine. B is equal to 4, C is equal to 5, anything. You can just assign them any values. And when you print them, they'll work just fine. So before we move ahead, I just want to show you how to print statements. In Java, we use this system.out.println. That's all you need. And inside this println method, here you write whatever you want to print. So if I do B plus C and I just run it, yeah, see 9, it's printed here. So just remember this, when you're writing programs, you need to use this to print your statements or whatever is asked for. You can also print, like you can print anything here. You can print something you have written here directly, like hello. I just print here, print hello. It will be printed. Okay, so this is the print statement. Don't get confused by anything right now. Just remember system.out.println is the way. It's similar to C out and C++. That's all you need to remember. And you need to write everything inside parentheses, whatever you want to print. You can have multiple print statements as well. So any doubts? Like, is everyone clear with how to print statements? Yes or no, guys? Okay, okay, okay. Okay, now let's move on to one more thing. So what I talked about was primitive data types until now. Like the data types that are there in every programming language, integer ho gaya, float, anything. Int a is equal to b. Sorry, what am I doing? Wait. Int a is equal to 3. I think it's hanging. Now I can actually compare these two, right? I don't know why this is happening. Yeah. So I can compare these two. Like 3 is less than, like I can check if A is greater than B or B is greater than A, right? We can compare them. But suppose I'm talking about students, like suppose I'm considering a data type called student. So suppose there are two students. There is one is Sharanya and the other is Stuti. Do you think I can compare those two? Yes or no? Okay. Yeah, we can compare them, but like what will you be comparing? You need to tell the program, you need to tell your computer, right, that what you are going to compare. I'm saying Stuti is greater than Sharanya. Does that make any sense? If Stuti and Sharanya are not numbers, they are two students, does that make any sense? No, right? It does not make sense. We don't know what we are saying, right? So these are like when we are solving real life problems or when we are writing programs that deal with actual data, like suppose we are creating a school a system for a school, like there they will be keeping the data of all the students there. My data will not be integers and floats, instead it will be students, right? So now with students there comes a lot of things. Each student will have their own unique roll numbers, each student will have their own unique names, right? Everyone will have their individual set of data further inside the student data. So there we cannot really use operations like int A हो गया, int B हो गया, and then we do A plus B to find out what we get. That is not possible in case of these kind of data types. So what are these? These are basically complex data types, right? They're not the ones that were already existing, but the ones that we created out of our own need. So since we cannot, you know, apply operations or deal with them the way we deal with integers, floats, or strings, that's why we have the concept of classes. So what are classes? Uh, okay, let's just talk about it first. Then I'll show you how to write a class. So classes are basically, just imagine there is an architect and he is told to build a house. So before building the actual house, before starting to use bricks and cement and everything, what he's going to do is he's going to write or draw a layout of the whole house, or maybe a map, more like a blueprint, on a piece of paper. And there he'll show everyone that, this is how the house is going to look when it is made. But when we are, uh, just a minute. Yeah. But when we are actually building it, that's a different thing, right? So the blueprint of the house is exactly what classes are when we are dealing with, custom data types. So what classes are, we are just telling the program that, I will be creating some objects. Now here is what I was talking about, classes and objects. Objects are the custom data types, like student is an object. But what all will the student have? Maybe student height, student, which class the student belongs to, the roll number of the student, the name of the student, and maybe there could also be a you know boolean data type, like has the student paid their fees, yes or no, like that. So all of these things, we basically, these are attributes of the data type, and we define all those attributes inside a class. What is a class? Class is the blueprint of an actual custom data type. So is everyone clear with what I mean by classes here? Yes or no, guys? Okay, if anyone has any doubts, just let me know, so I'll just show you how we do it when we are coding. Okay, so leave this empty for now. I'll create another class. This is the main class. Yeah, I forgot to mention. So in Java, we always have a main class and a main method. It's equal to, in C, we have int main. You need it to write your code and to make it run. If int main, that particular thing is missing, your code won't run. So just like that, here you need public static void main and public class. I mean, you can name this anything, this class, but that depends. And for each class you'll have to create a separate file, but let's not go into that. Just give me a moment. Okay, sorry, everyone. Yeah, so yeah, mm, I'll just create another class here. Let's say I'm creating a class called class student, and inside that class I'll define what all I need, like what should the student class. Student is basically my custom data type, and suppose in this class I want int roll, that is the roll number of the student. For now I'm just giving it a roll number on my own, suppose it's 2. Then I'll have another attribute that will be string name. This could be anything, I'll give it my name only. And I can also have char grade. So this is B. I can also make another one, boolean fee paid. Here I make it true. So this is how, and you can have any number of attributes. It depends on you and the kind of data type you are, you know, creating. I can also have another class called class animal. Here I can just do, something like, maybe I can talk about what animal it is. I can do it. String species. Here I do cow. Int age of the animal. Here I have done 14. So these are two classes, and these two are talking about two different types of data. Here I'm specifying that I want to store or deal with a data of the type animal in my program or software, whatever I'll be building, and it should have these attributes. Like attribute means characteristics. So I will specify the species, I'll specify the age, and here in students it's roll number, name, grade, and fee paid. So that is how you basically create a very simple class. And yeah, any program can have multiple number of classes, but one class, the class that is having the main function, that is the name of that class is the name with which you should be saving your file, like main.java. I won't go too deep into that because for DSA you don't really need to create files and all that. You'll just be directly writing code on your IDE. So is everyone clear with how to create classes? Anyone any doubts? Okay, so I assume nobody has any doubts. Mm, yeah. So now let's talk about the next thing. Ki, how do I access this data? How can I, print it or anything? So for that, we need to create objects. Right now, I have just created a blueprint of the class. I have not actually created any kind of variable or data. I have just created the data type, not the data. Okay, so I have just defined that this is a custom data type that I want. Now, using that data type, I'm going to create an object. Wha If you Google what an object is, I'll just show you. The first thing that usually all the books and everything say is object is, mm, yeah, also called an instance of a class. So what are objects? Objects are instance of a class. So instance here, what instance means is basically it's the actual physical, you know, how do I say it? Manifestation, or you can just say that classes are blueprints. Like yeah, I was talking about the example of a house, right? So the blueprint of the house is a class. Then the actual house is actually the object, the house that was built based on the blueprint, right? So an object, only when you create an object is that when uh, allocate some memory and create separate data. So yeah, I'll just show you how to do that, how to create objects. So creating objects is very, I'll show you how the pattern is. When we are declaring an integer, how do we do it? We write the data type int, then we give it a name. Suppose I'm giving it the name int num is equal to, then we assign it a value, right? So when we create objects, how we do it is very similar to this. First, what we did here was int is a data type. So here we are going to write the data type. I want to create an object of student type. So what is the data type here? Student. Now I want to give it a name. So I'll just give it any name. I'll give it Sharanya. This is, you can't name it anything else. Okay. Let's just name it A and student A. And now here comes the tricky part. Because we are creating an object, we cannot directly assign it any value. So we use the keyword new. New is the keyword we always use when we want to create a new instance of any class. So you can have multiple objects of the same class, like I can have student A, student B, student C. So every time I'm creating those, I have to write new and then again data type this. This is how you create an object, new student. Okay, so yeah, you just need to remember to use the new keyword, and here it should be the data type with which your class, with which you created your class name. So yeah, now next step, let's see how to, let's see, I want to store the name of A in another variable. So I do string name. Let's just, yeah, okay, it's fine. We can name it name. String name is equal to, now how to access these attributes. To access each of these, you just do A dot name. Name is stored. Now I'll do system out dot print ln, the print statement, and I'll print name. Or maybe I can just, Just to avoid confusion, I'll just name it C. I'll print C. See what we get. Yeah, Sharanya, it's printed. So this name here, we accessed it, even though it was in another class, we access it with the use of objects. So you have to create an object first. Okay. So is everyone clear with how to create objects? What about others? Is everyone clear? Okay, okay. That's good. All right. So yeah, we did create an object. Now I'll also show you like how do we add two numbers? We do A plus B, right? Just ignore all the rest of the code. Let's just talk about this. A plus B. So whenever we come across the plus sign, we are telling the computer, like you are basically telling your, system to just add two numbers A and B. But for that, A and B should be numbers, or if not numbers, they should be two strings so that you can concatenate them. Like don't worry about it if you don't know what concatenate means. It's just two strings. They come together and make a third string. Okay. So yeah, but how do I tell to add one student and another student? Can I do that? Does that make sense? Just like I talked about earlier, if we can't compare Stuti and Sharanya, like which is greater? Stuti is greater or Sharanya? Can we add Stuti plus Sharanya? Can we do Stuti plus Sharanya? Yeah, we can't do that, right? So for that we have methods. What are methods? Methods are basically functions that help us perform operations on objects, or just any function that basically a set of instructions that help you do something actually to perform a task. So let's see how to create methods. I'll show you. I'll create it here only. Yeah, I'll create it here. So let's suppose I'm creating a method where I want to change or update the roll number. So I'll say like I'm just changing my roll number. So for that, I'll just create a method called update roll. And here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just set roll to something else. It was 2, I'll just set it to 20. Now let's just do what we did earlier. We are going to, just like we accessed attributes, we access methods in the same way. Methods created for, a particular class. So let's see. Hmm, yeah, I created this. The name of the object was A. So I'll do, wait, before that, let's just print what was the previous roll number. A dot roll. I'm directly accessing it instead of assigning it to another variable. After this, I'll just do A dot update roll. And lastly, I'll just print it again. Oh, I forgot. Yeah. Why did I write this void? Because in Java, it's very important. When you're creating a method, you need to make sure that you tell the system that what will be the return type. Like, is this function going to calculate something and return something? Like, basically returning here means is ki you performed a task, and if you got a particular output for it, do you want to save that output somewhere? We didn't really do anything. We just changed the value of something. We are not calculating and getting a new value out of it, right? So because of that, I wrote void that I do not want to receive any value as an output when this function is run. So that's why I wrote update role. And yeah, you can see how this works. At first it was this 2, and then I called this method on this object A, and then it was changed to this newer value that I assigned. So this function was run, then I called it here. So how do you define functions? You just type the return type, then you name the function. This name can be anything else. I could also do name it change role, right? So it depends on you what you want to name it. It's better to name it according to what task it's going to do, so that you can avoid confusion later on. And here parenthesis, wait, here inside this you can actually give it a value. Like if I wrote int n here, what I could do is I could pass a value here. Like suppose instead of wait, I'll show you. Role is equal to n. So what I'm going to do is whatever value the I pass here, I'll pass 20, 13 here. Now let's check. So whatever value I passed here, that value will be assigned to it. So here it's a bit more dynamic now. Like you can tell what value you need to assign it. You don't need to write a separate function for each time you change the roll number to something particular. So let's just run it. Yeah, say it's 13. If I change the value here, it will change here and it will update it to something else. So you got it. I hope everyone's clear with how to write methods. Any doubts, anyone? All right. So now that we have learned how to, call methods and create objects, let's move on to learning how to take input. We already know how to, print output, but taking an input is a bit more different. You need to create an object actually. So I'll just comment out all of this. Let's start here. You can see I have imported scanner here. Usually what you will find in most IDs is this. So this means all the stuff that is inside the util package. What are packages? Packages are basically separate different files that have predefined functions. So this is the utility package. It has all the classes and all the code needed for some very major and important predefined operations or functions that are required to run code in Java. So one of them is scanner. If you just want to import one particular class, you can just write the name of the class here. And if you want to import all of them, you can do this. So what people sometimes do is while solving code or while writing big programs, they just write specific names in order to save space, because the more you load, the more space will be used up. So for now, I'll just keep it like this, because let's just assume we have all the functions and classes needed. So yeah, just how I showed you how we created, let's just follow this line. Okay, I'll cut it and paste it here. So this is how we created an object of the student class, right? So now I'll create an object of the scanner class. What is the scanner class? Scanner class is a class, a predefined class that helps us take an input. It basically scans whatever we given as input here. So we do here, I wrote class name, that was student. So just like that, we're writing scanner. I can name that object anything. You just need to create one object of the scanner class to take whatever input you need. Just one is enough. So I'll name it SC. Now I'll do new scanner. Now here you need to write system.in, right? We did system.out for printing out, and just like that we are doing system.in to take in input. So yeah, that's it. And the next step is to call the function. Like there are different functions now. I'll tell you different methods. So if you are taking in an integer as input, you do int n is equal to sc, the scanner object, the scanner class object, sc dot next int. When you do this, I'll just show you. Wait, you just write a statement here: system.out.println, enter a number. So here I'll just print whatever number was input by me. Println n. Let's just run it now. Okay, I need to input it first. Okay, I'll just enter 5. Done. Yeah, see, enter a number was printed. Here it's working a bit different, but yeah, when you're, running it on Eclipse or on your, CMD command prompt, there first the line enter a number will be printed, and after that you will be asked to type something. There you can just type 5, and the moment you type 5, this line of code will read it and store it in the variable called n. You can name it num as well. It's totally up to you, whatever you want to name it, and then it will be printed. So this is how we take in integers. It differs for each data type. If it's a float, you can simply do float f, no, not f, let's take it, float fl is equal to sc dot next float. You need to be mindful of what you are using here. There are a lot of methods like these. Like for each data type, you will have to use a different one. The two that are used the most are for integers and strings. For strings, you can do string s is equal to sc dot next. Yeah, yeah. So there are two for strings, reading strings. So what this one does is, I'll show you what this one does. Let's erase these. Enter a. Let's just erase this one as well. So string s is equal to sc dot next. Okay. Now I will just print s. So I'm printing. I'll show you. First, I'm just printing my name. See, Sharanya was given as output. But see what happens when I do Sharanya Srivastava. Suppose I'm printing my whole name. Only Sharanya is printed. Can anyone tell me why? Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll explain it again. But can anyone tell me right now why only Sharanya was printed and not Sharanya Srivastava? Here it is. So when I wrote just Sharanya, it was printed as it is. But when I wrote Srivastava as well, it was not printed. I mean, both of them are strings, right? Be it Sharanya or Sharanya Srivastava, it doesn't matter, right? Why was it not printed? Yes, exactly. Exactly. So that's what I was coming to. So yeah, in strings, there is a problem that when you're just using this method called next, at that time, only one, it will read until there is a space. Like if I remove this space, it will print the whole thing. Say Sharanya Srivastava was printed. But the moment there is a space between two characters, it will stop right there, thinking that, oh, I just need to, So basically, when you just want to read the first word in your input, then you use next. But when you want to read the whole sentence, you use a different method that's called string sentence is equal to sc dot next line. This will read the whole line. So now if I print hi, I am Sharanya, the whole thing will be read. Mm, I'll just comment this one sentence. Oh, wait, did I do something wrong? Okay, it's not. Hmm, it should be working. I don't see what I'm doing wrong. Uh, I guess I'm missing something. I'll just Google it here. Okay, I'll get back to it later. I think I'm missing something. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I guess I got it. Mm, yeah, it was. Yeah, I pressed enter, so that's why it was not working. It was just reading the first line, and the first line is completely empty. So the moment you press enter, like if I'm writing Sharanya, wait, let me just go back to it. Hi, I am Sharanya, and here when I press enter and write something else, that this is a sentence. So it will only read the first line. Yeah, see, only the first line is read. So yeah, but the first line is fully read. You don't need to worry about the spaces in between. So yeah, that was something that happened because of this. Now because the first line is empty, again it's printing an empty, completely empty string. It did read it, but it's all empty. So does anyone have doubts? Yeah, you guys are right. I missed that. Also, someone asked me to go through the next method again. So yeah, I'll just go through it again from the very beginning. Just like we had methods, yeah, like here I created a method update role to update the roll number of whatever object it was. Similarly, we have a lot of methods. I'll just, I'll show you these here. Scanner methods in Java. You'll find a lot of them. Mm, yeah, see, here it is. So next boolean, what this method does is it reads a boolean. So if you're giving input as true or false, you need to use next boolean, next byte. It will give, yeah, it's byte. Although I am not going to explain byte. Basically, byte is also a data type, but then you don't need to go into that for now. So next double, double is also another data type. Does anyone know what double does? Like how is double different from int? Anyone? Yeah, exactly. So for that, we also have float. So yeah, it's just different methods for different kinds of data types that you want to read. But mostly we use these. Also, there is long. Long is for really, really long numbers. When there are a lot of digits involved, then int won't work. You need to use next long. Then there's also short. So these are just different data types, and this is not it. There are more than these, but you don't need to go into that. So yeah, just now we discussed next line, and before that I think just next is not here. Yeah, when you're just doing next, it reads the string, and next line reads the whole line with ignoring the spaces as well in between. So is I think yeah, Gunjan mentioned that I should explain next method again. So are you clear with that, Gunjan? All right, cool. So yeah, so now we know how to read different kind of data types. So let's now move on to arrays. Arrays are the very beginner level data structures, and everyone should know how to deal with arrays. So how do you take input in an array? It's not going to be very simple. So first, let's just go stepwise. Mm, I'm erasing all this because it's not needed anymore. We already dealt with classes. I'll just show you how to take input for array. So first of all, let's see how to declare an array. So int declaring an array that stores integers. You can also do it string. Then this array will store strings, or you can do something else as well. So it just depends on what data type you want your array to be. Int r is equal to int sorry, new int n. Oh, sorry, not n. Let's see. I just want five uh, values to be stored. So yeah, you need to tell the size of the array first when you're doing it, and after that, I'll just do. I'll write a for loop. Yeah, you cannot really directly pass values to an array. You need to usually write a loop to store values if you're taking it as user input. I'll just show you how to do it in both ways. First is r is equal to, I'm just assigning all the values to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, then I'll just create another array. R, uh, R2 is equal to new int. So here I'm going to take user input. So let's see how to do that. I'll write a for loop. For int I is equal to 0, I less than. Now less than, what should I write here? 5? Should I write 5 there? What should I write there? I less than. I guess you all know how to write for loops, right? So what's happening here is actually I'm just here in this statement. I'm just telling key how many times my for loop should, like this loop should run. I'll have to take five values. So how many times should it run? Five times, right? But should I write five here? Yes or no? Okay, yeah. I less than five, right? I less than five. But what if it's I less than equal to? Then what should I write? Five? Should I still write 5? I less than equal to I. Yes, exactly. I should write 4 now. Why should I write 4? Can you can you tell me? Why should I write 4? Anyone? Yeah, because arrays, the indexing of arrays start with 0. So 0, when I is equal to 0, then also the loop is going to run once. So if I wrote 5 here, the loop would actually run 6 times. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is why I will write 4 then. But since I'm doing less than, so I will just write 5 here. Like, I should be less than 5. If I is equal to 5, then the loop should not run. And every time the loop is run, you increase the value of I plus plus. Now here I'm just going to do r of index I. I will start from 0 and go until 4, that is less than 5, is equal to sc dot next int. And that's it. That's how you take input for an array. And then you can, oh yeah, even for printing it out, you need to, mm, write a loop. I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. And you're again doing the same thing, but this time you're printing stuff out, whatever you wrote. Print ln r I. Let's just run this. Wait. We'll give it input like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I think I missed something. I've missed a semicolon somewhere. Oh, yeah. Hmm, I think I'm forgetting something. Yeah. Oh, I guess I am forgetting something. Maybe it was this. I'm not sure. No, it's definitely not this. Yeah. So let's ignore that for now. That was anyway extra. Let's just see how to take inputs. I guess this should at least work. Oh, I'm doing R. It's R2. Mm-hmm. Oh, oh, oh. Look what I did. See, I did not create the scanner object. So yeah, you need to create the object to actually read input. But I did not create it and I was using it. How would the computer know how to, what sc.next means unless I, create it. So yeah, now it should work. Okay, there's still some. Oh, yeah, I'm again doing something wrong. See, these are minor errors that you can solve only. Now it's printed. See, so I gave in the input 6789 and it was printed as it is. So what if I remove this ln from here? Let's just see what happens then. See, they are all printed one next to another. So print, you can also do system.out.print when you do not want things to be printed in different lines, and system.out.println when you want them to be in separate lines. So yeah, this is how you take inputs for arrays and print them out. So mostly when you're solving DSA questions, these are the only things that you need. I did mess up earlier the array part. I'm not sure why it was not working there, although that's how it should be. But is everyone clear with how to take array inputs and outputs? Yeah, I was doing the curly braces later. Yeah. So anyone got any doubts on how to read and print arrays? Okay, cool. Now I'll just to show you guys, I'll just open CodeChef and show you how, to solve problems here. So go to self-learning only, the one that I talked about earlier. I suggest if you are a beginner, you should definitely start with this one. I'll open this one and just let's just pick a random problem here from the getting started track. And we'll just solve this problem and then we are done for today because that's all I needed to tell you. Because that's all I knew when I started solving problems. And what I did was along the way, whenever I came across different questions, I just okay, write a program to find the remainder when an integer a is divided by an integer b. All right, this will be easy. Let's do this. So yeah, what I did was I just started with this much on Java and a bit. I read a bit more on OOPS, the theoretical parts like about abstraction, encapsulation, all those weird words you saw here. I read on these and I just started out with my DSA practice with only these things that I told you today. And slowly, while solving questions only, I used to Google stuff and find out how to do this and that. And that's how, I learned more. So, yeah, let's do this. Oh, I have already written it. I'll just write it again. Yeah, so see, usually when you're solving DSA problems, now what happens is you already have this much code written. All you need to do is you need to write the set of instructions or the basic logic. So let's start. First, what we need to do is we need to take input. So we'll do scanner sc as we did there is equal to sc dot sorry. Scanner sc is equal to new scanner system dot in. Now we'll take input of two numbers. Int a is equal to sc dot next int. Then we take int b is equal to what is this? Int b is equal to sc dot next int. Now you need to just find the remainder. So I'll store the remainder as int r, or let's not even store it. Let's just directly print it. System dot out dot println a. What was the question again? A is divided. Yeah, so A is divided. So what? How do we find in the remainders? There is another operand, just like A by B. I'll just show you what A by B does and what. I'll show it here only. A modulo B. Write two numbers here. 10, 4. I'm just running it for now. I'm not submitting it. Let's see the output. So 4 by 10. The first is also 2 and the second is also 2. Why is that? Can someone tell me? 10 by 4 also gave us 2 and 10 modulo 4 also gave us 2. Can anyone tell me why? Okay, I'll tell you. So wait, it is not sure it is here. So what happens is when we are doing integer division, and by chance if the answer is something like a decimal, like if you do 10 divided by 4, what exactly do you get? You get 2 point something, right? Because 4 twos are 8, and then there are two more digits. So here what happens is in case of integers, they only take in the integer value. Whatever comes after the point, like after the decimal, it's truncated. And in case of modulo, you're getting the remainder. Here you're getting the remainder. When you do 10 divided by 4, the remainder is 2. I guess I took a bad example where both of them came out to be different. I'll just take another one. Hmm. So let's do 3. Yeah. See here now. So since 10 divided by 3 is 3 point something, only 3 is getting printed, the value before the decimal, and 3 divided by 10 gives remainder 1. That's why 1 was printed. So for this question, we just need this line, and we'll remove this one. I just added that to explain you, and I'll just submit it. It should work. Oh, wrong answer. That's good. Why is it wrong? Just, oh yeah, I forgot test cases. Yeah, I was coming to that also. So what usually happens is you will be given multiple test cases. For that, you need to write a loop first. So I'll just do int p is equal to, let's see, first they tell you the number. Like I'll just show you how to understand these questions. Just scroll down here, and here just go to examples. So what is it? Three test cases. The first thing that the input is telling you is I'll give you three test cases. That is, I'll give you three sample inputs, right? The first input is 1, 2, second is 100, 200, third is 40 and 15. And you need to tell me the right answer for all these three. So yeah, I'll have to first write a loop that will take inputs as many times as it says that we have test cases. So se dot next in. I've taken in the number of test cases now. Now I'm going to use a while loop. You can also use a for loop, but this is an easier way. 3 minus minus greater than 0. And all of this code here, you just need to write a logic here. So it will run as many times as there are sample inputs. So why did I do this? What this is doing is actually p minus minus is greater than 0. So it will run for the first time when p is equal to 3. Like they gave the example to be 3, right? Then the value of this while loop will run as long as the value of t is greater than 0. So first t was 3, then it was 2, then it was 1. So it will run 3 times. Then the moment it reduces to 0, it will stop running. That means it will only run this code 3 times. So let's just submit it now. Now it should work. Yeah, it's working now. So that is how you basically solve questions. Any platform you go to, you will be writing code in this way, and you can see that I didn't have to create a class, or I didn't really have to deal with even objects. That is very rare. You do all of that when you're developing something, like when you're making some sort of a program or application using Java. But for DSA, you just need to know the concepts, and all you need is whatever you'll be writing inside here. You basically need to work on your logic and know all these basic concepts. So yeah, that's it from my side today. I just like a quick feedback from you all that did you like the session? Were you able to, understand whatever I taught today? Just yes or no would be enough. Okay, awesome. So yeah. So have you all started working on your assignments as well? Oh, I'm glad you liked it. Although it was very basic. Most of you who already know these, they might have found it boring. But yeah, that is how you need to start. These are the basic concepts that you need to start with DSA. And at any point, if you feel you have any doubts regarding the assignments that were shared with you, just drop us your doubts on Discord. I'll post the link here. Also, is there still anyone who has not received their assignments? If yes, please just let us know through the chat box. Okay, so I assume that everyone has received the assignments and are working on it. Okay. Karthik, did you fill the form? Okay, you guys are not able to find the assignments. Wait a minute. I'll just wait a minute. I'll post the direct link here itself for now so that you can at least start working on the assignment. The links will remain same. There is only one link for assignments. Questions will be added there later on. So I'm pasting the link in the chat box. Here it is. Just go through this document. It has everything that we have covered so far in the boot camp. And yeah, the doubt session will take place tomorrow. And at 7 p.m. itself, Akshay sir will be coming to take up your doubts regarding assignments or anything. So make sure that you do open this document and you can just star it or save a copy of the same. Oh wait, sorry, yeah. I thought it's Tuesday today. Yeah, I meant Wednesday. Yeah, the doubt session will happen on Wednesday. So yeah, just go through that document, everyone. And anything else? Does anyone have any issues regarding the bootcamp classes? So I assume nobody has any issues. That's really good. And I'm glad a lot of you stayed until the end, even though it was a very basic session. So thank you for coming, everyone. And we'll see you all on Wednesday in the doubt session with Akshay sir. Thank you, everyone. And keep doing your assignments. And yeah, we have the contest that will happen after all the classes are over. That contest is open to everyone. So make sure you do practice your assignments because the questions in the contest won't be difficult at all. We'll be keeping it beginner level only, and all the top performers there will get prizes. So keep keep practicing, everyone. Bye. Thank you, everyone.